Great to have you joining me this morning, and hopefully you're doing well. Out here in Philadelphia, we're looking at 50-degree temperature, which is a little crazy to even imagine how beautiful that will be. So, what we're talking about today is today we're talking about this concept of what is generative in our life, and I love that idea of what's generative. And one way to look at it is the whole point of creation is this creative process, is this idea that things are ongoing. One of my sort of go-to quotes from the Christian New Church perspective is that maintenance is perpetual creation. In other words, for anything to even maintain just what it is, it has to go through all kinds of growth and change, and there has to be a generative element to it. And I think we all know that in our life. Like, we like to have this sense that there's movement and there's growth, even when there's peace in our lives, right? We have those moments where we really want to be settled. And we also just want to have this sense, yeah, that somehow there's a movement somewhere. And that's what we're talking about today. So the context is this beautiful part of the story, and the story here shifts. For those of you joining us for the first time, we've been looking at the story of creation, and we're on to the days when the animals and the fish kind of arrive on the story. And we read this story as a beautiful allegory of what starts to happen in our lives. And it's real important to remember this is not prescriptive, it is descriptive. This is what God is doing in our lives. Our job is just to, sort of learn how best to cooperate with what God is doing. And what's God doing at this point in time? It's a beautiful little line, a couple beautiful lines here. This is what God is doing. This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 22. And God blessed them, saying, reproduce and multiply and fill the water in the seas, and the birds will multiply on the land. So here we see kind of this like command for this generative approach to life. This, I want to really stress that, like, it's a command for a generative approach to life. That's very different than an entertainment orientation to life, like life is here to entertain me, or life is here to make me feel comfortable, or any of that thing, or convenience is the primary moral virtue. No, this is saying, yeah, you know what? The call here is to live a life that is generative. And because that's how God's kind of organized the whole thing, is this generative approach. And then there's this beautiful line about what does this mean? I'm going to read the quote directly here because it's beautiful. Fruit born of love holds the seed. Fruit born of love holds the seed. So as we take this generative approach, we have to see life again like there's the fruit of our labors. It's very Christian idea, very Christian concept of bearing good fruit. And the point of the fruit is the seeds, and this fruit born of love carries seeds in it. So that fruitfulness we put out there into the world, if it comes from love, it's going to hold a seed in it that's going to be the very core of that generosity. Boy, that is a powerful concept, that this whole seed of generosity, and that's what we're to really try to continue to plant out there into the world. So what does that look like on a very practical level? Well, I was thinking back to somebody, chatting with, probably about a year ago, and we are talking about how he could have a better relationship. And one of the things we had a great conversation on was just a basic choice. So I said to this person, I said, you imagine going home and writing a little thank you note, or shooting a text to your wife when you get home. Thank you, honey, for this, that, the other thing. Thank you for taking care of this, or thank you for being that. Whatever it is, whatever a real legitimate compliment would be. So that gets passed on, and and we always have that choice, right, to do that thing, just that basic. Honey, thank you for a hard you work. Just really appreciate it. Period. Just done like that. Now imagine doing that into a strained relationship, and I think probably most of us do have a strained relationship or two out there. And the beautiful part of this conversation I've had with many people over time, is how hard that is to do, because Here's this generative piece of fruit, gratitude, that can bear seeds born of love. Gratitude bears a lot of seeds born out of love. And here's our ego that's going like, wait a minute. If you write that letter, you pretty much are saying they're right. That all along they've been right. You're the mule. They're the greatest of all time. Uh, just I mean that's you think about it, folks. Like that's crazy at a certain level. That here's this fruit that bears love, which we all know it. Like nobody will argue that this is what's true. And yet our ego will pull us over here. And this is what's false. Actually, this is a made up story that somehow if we express gratitude or if we do something nice for someone that we have somehow given in or they have won, whatever winning looks like. I'm not quite so sure what that is. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to think about, folks. How do we sort of out of generosity create those fruits that have this seed in them, and that fruit, again, read the quote to you again: fruit born of love bears the seed. That idea that within those generative gestures there can be seeds that we just don't know. We have no idea where they go. And of course, sometimes they'll come right back on us. Sometimes, of course, somebody on occasion will say, like, well, that's pretty hollow to say you're grateful, blah, blah, blah. Of course it can come back on us. Of course, somebody can react poorly to an act of friendship, kindness, love that we extend. And it doesn't mean don't do it. It means sometimes that'll happen. And it also means this: sometimes it won't. The only 100% guarantee that we have in life is if we stick with our ego and we stick with all that garbage in our head and punishing other people, guess what? Ain't going to work. It's just 100% guarantee. And the 100% guarantee is that on occasion, this whole idea of generative fruit does work, and the seed somehow hits the soft soil and it somehow makes a difference and it somehow grows into other things. And again, that's God's work. Our job is just to keep doing our bit. So as we go into this week, folks, think about that idea of where you can plant a seed from a generative perspective. Like, what's a generative thing you can do? Just planting a seed. You don't get to determine whether it's received or not. You just get to plant it. And knowing that, again, like, our ego is going to have all kinds of commentary about that, all kinds of commentary about why you can't do it, shouldn't do it, they would never do it, have all kinds of commentary. But that's your ego, and ego is a really bad advisor. Just so you're fully aware. Yeah, so that's the thought for today, folks. Just how do we bear some generative fruit this weekend? So with that, folks, what I'm going to do now is we're going to ring the bell. Ring the bell. We're just going to listen to it for a second and allow just it to calm us down. Now, I need to be honest. I did, as I sometimes do, left my phone in the other room. So I'm actually going to ring the bell and then just simply allow you folks to have the bell. You'll see me pop off screen, but I will be back in exactly 10 seconds after we just all get calm. So with that, friends, let's all get a big breath and listen to the bell. All right, there we go. Our meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift up his face upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you peace and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends. Again, my apologies for the little glitch there. And you can leave a comment on New Church Live's Facebook page. That's where I will be reading them from. And and then this loads it's a commentary about this weekend. We have a really interesting service this weekend, and it's about how can we move beyond our tribe. It's definitely been interesting to me to see just the consistent distress people have over the divisiveness in our culture at this time. And we want to address it, not as in a way to say, like, just, this is the side that won, none of that garbage. It's not about sides. It's not about any of that. It's not about who won or who lost or any pieces like that. It's really about us taking a look at how do we create kind of something that rises above this divisiveness into a place where we're refocused on what the common good is. So I hope you can join us on Sunday. And with that, dear friends, here we go. Here's our comments. All right. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. Looking forward to Sunday. George, I'm so glad you're enjoying the message. Sure is fun to have you joining us. Paige, good morning to you. And I had the last of your little Christmas gift last night, which I thoroughly enjoyed as we were watching the Olympics. Sherry, happy Friday. Have a good weekend. And same to you too, my friend. Had a great time with that son of yours, as we always do, playing racquetball every week. Linda, good morning to you, my friend. Melissa, great to see you joining us live. Good morning and happy Friday. Love and gratitude grows. It's really fascinating, right? Like how much gratitude is that seed that bears fruit. Kind of interesting. Yeah. Boy, I could talk a lot about that. Joy Rich, wow, what a clear example of choosing to listen to Heaven. Thanks, Pastor Chuck. Yeah, it's a great example, Joy. It's not easy. It is not an easy example. It's the fun part about being a pastor is the funny part about being a pastor is it's so easy to say, and then the opportunity to do it arises, and I can tell you it's easy to say, hard to do. I think we all know that. Yeah, Linda, ego is essentially a bad advisor. Sometimes it's challenging to make it be quiet. So true. And I love the idea. I'm a big fan of the movie Ratatouille, Disney. I just always liked that movie. And anyhow, some of you've heard me say it before. I love the idea that the critic in the movie is called ego, which I think is a very wise one. All right. Yeah. Hopefully you would have me on a timer there, Joy, as I ran to get my phone. This is a great question. Brandon writes, Chuck, what football tribe are you rooting for on Sunday evening? That is a great question. I actually like both teams, Brandon. So Brandon and I are big football guys, by the way. And I was telling someone yesterday, this is what I know. I know on Sunday, I don't know who will win. I know football will win. And it'll be fun to watch and fun to enjoy. So, folks, just wishing you all the best. Again, as always, if there's anything we can do here at New Church Live, please let us know. And again, I warmly invite you to join us 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for either our live service or view it archived. If you come live, it's at 800 Tomlinson Road in Bernathen, Pennsylvania. If you watch it online, you can see it via our brand new super fun homepage, which is www.newchurchlive.tv. All right, friends, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.